Hey, what's going on everyone? Eric here with Proactive Intuition, and I want to just make a video about my reseller story. If you guys don't know who I am, my primary source of income is buying items at a discount and reselling them for a profit. So I just wanted to kind of share, the good and the bad when it comes to reselling, and just kind of share my story in hopes that it's going to help you guys out from making some of the mistakes that I've made, and also kind of help you guys out with explaining how it's a great source of income for you and your family. Reselling has created a ton of opportunity in my life. It's helped my wife and I pay off over $30,000 in debt. It's helped us be able to buy a 2018 vehicle outright with cash. It's helped me transition out of my full-time job and actually do this for a living. So it's created a ton of opportunities along the way, but it's not all, rainbows and sunshine, right? Like, there's a lot of things that I learned. There's a lot of painful struggles along the way, and I just want to kind of share all of it, the good and the bad, in this video. So just to kind of share a little bit about how I got started reselling on eBay at the age of, it was like 13 or 14. I created an eBay account in my dad's name. I said, hey Dad, I'm gonna sell my video game stuff on eBay, and he was all for that, right? But he didn't know that I was selling my video game stuff so I could buy the newer video game stuff so I could play it. So I started out just kind of doing, selling my own stuff I had laying around the house, my old toys, my old video game stuff, and I would sell that on eBay, and then I would buy stuff on eBay, like the newer PlayStation 2 instead of my PlayStation 1, and I could play the newer video games, right? So that's how I got started, was just selling my own personal stuff at a very young age, 13, 14 years old. That's what I really love about reselling, is anyone can do it. This isn't some special skill set or some super hard thing to learn. Like, anyone can list an item on eBay and make money doing it. So that's how I got started. A little further down the line, I'd do it off and on, make a couple $100 a year selling my stuff that I didn't want anymore. And then I started saying, you know what? How can I make money if I were to actually spend my money to buy an item at a discount and resell it for a profit? And I had one of my really good friends, he was about 2 or 3 years older than me, and he was doing it, and he always had a bunch of cash in his wallet because he was constantly buying stuff at garage sales and flea markets and things like that. And I was like, how are you doing that? And he kind of explained to me what he was doing and kind of what types of items are good to buy and resell. So I started buying a lot more video game stuff. That's really how I got my start. Was I would buy a Super Nintendo for cheap, and I'd flip and resell it on eBay, and I'd make 50 bucks on it or whatever it was. And to me, that was amazing income, right? So that's kind of how I got started. I did that for several years, off and on, even all through college. I would have college classes in the morning, and then I'd have a break, and then I'd have college classes at night. And during that break, I would go out to people that had garage sales going on. I'd look up on Craigslist and see stuff that people had for sale, and I would buy their items at a discount, take pictures of it with my phone. Then I would get home, I would list the item after I get home from my night classes. So, I've been reselling off and on for a long, long time. But I started to get a little more serious with it after I actually moved to Kansas City. So my girlfriend at the time lived in Kansas City. She's not my wife, so it's definitely worth the move. But I moved from near the St. Louis area to Kansas City, and I started working at Dick's Sporting Goods. And I actually reconnected with my friend that was the reseller I was telling you about, that's 2 or 3 years older than me. And he started going to storage auctions and was making really good money doing that. And the job I had working at Dick's Sporting Goods wasn't really making me much money, and I wasn't getting a lot of hours. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to quit that job and I'm going to resell full time. So I was going to garage sales and thrift stores and flea markets as much as I could. And I tried to just buy and resell items for a living, but I didn't take into account that, hey, you have to reinvest a lot of your money back into the business so that you have enough capital to keep growing the business. And so I couldn't really pull money out. And so I quickly became over $2,000 in debt, and from there, I kind of had to go get another job. So I started working at a nutrition company, and kind of set aside reselling for a little bit. But then, like I said, I reconnected with my friend. He was doing storage auctions, so we actually became roommates and started going to storage auctions together. And I started doing quite well with storage auctions. We had some units that we did over $1,000 profit on. It was a great side hustle. I'd do it 1 or 2 days a week, and we just kind of partnered together and started doing that together. After a while, our house started looking like a hoarder's house, and I didn't really like it because it was dirty, and it just wasn't what I liked. I didn't like having to stay up until 10 p.m. cleaning out storage units that we didn't get charged a fine and all that kind of stuff. So you know, it kind of was just a side hustle here and there for a while. And eventually I ended up quitting that nutrition job. I got a job, believe it or not, doing door-to-door sales. Didn't like that. I quit that 3 months later. I was like, you know what? I need to buckle down. I need to get a career. And so I got into corporate America and I got a job at AT&T in sales, working at a store. And this is where it really kind of changed for me, because I started working this job. I was there for about a year. I would do some reselling, but not a whole lot, you know, maybe a couple $100 a month. And I started working this job and I absolutely hated it. The environment was terrible. The pay was decent. I had benefits. You know, it could have turned into a long-time career, but the people I worked with were extremely toxic. The sales environment was very manipulative and unethical, in my opinion. Like, we would sell people products that had no business buying the TV service. They didn't have enough money or whatever it is. And, you know, you just dealt with pissed off customers all day long. You weren't supported by your managers, and I hated my job a lot. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give reselling a real go. I know I'm good at this. I understand how to buy and resell items. I just need to be able to buy and resell the right items. So I started doing a lot of research online. Like, hey, what's the best items to buy and resell? And so I actually came across David Kosciuszko. His YouTube channel is Win at Life with Dave, and I watched a ton of his free information. I probably watched at least 5 videos a day that he had, and he was making huge money. Like, he was making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in a month in sales. I was like, how's he doing this? Like, I barely break $1,000 in sales in a month if I'm really trying. So I started studying what he was buying and reselling, and he was mostly selling smartphones. And smartphones are great to resell because they're small, lightweight, they're easy to ship, they're high in value. Everyone has an old smartphone, and he taught me how to do that. And one of the other things I did during this time, because the job started getting really bad to where I was like, I can't take this anymore. I was getting depressed working there. My attitude was terrible. It's just, you know, that job was just rubbing me the wrong way. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do reselling. I just need to know how. And luckily, there was actually a reseller convention coming to my area. So there's in March, I believe it was March of 2018, I went to a reseller convention. There's a bunch of really popular YouTubers there. You know, you had Rally Roots, Ryan and Allie Roots. You had Chris from Daily Refinement. He was called 10K on the Bay then. And then a bunch of other people too. And it was pretty awesome. I got to meet people that did reselling full time. They made it their full-time income. And I got to meet a lot of just really cool people. I was like, it kind of convinced me, like, okay, you can make a full-time income doing this. I just need to commit, and I need to buckle down and get really serious about it. And that's when I actually ended up signing up for David Kosciuszko's course. He had like a phone flipping course that taught you how to buy and resell items. And I took that like a college class, and I just buckled in. I was like, I'm going to do everything he tells me to do, and I'm going to quit my job in the next couple months. And that's what I did. I followed his advice to a T. I signed up for his course in April of 2018. In May of 2018, I actually quit my job, and that was it. Like, I was done with it. So April, I think I did like $2,500 in sales, and then May I did $10,700 in sales of 2018, and then I never looked back. I've consistently done over $10,000 a month in sales since. You know, I've had better months where I do $15,000, $20,000 plus in sales. But you know, that's really where I got serious and I buckled down, was once I started discovering, like, there's a system to this. There's a way you can go about your reseller business to make the maximum profit, take the least amount of risk, and really just value your time as a reseller, because you can spend all the time in the world buying and reselling the wrong items and only making a few bucks here and there. Or if you just applied that time towards flipping the right types of items, you know, you're making $50+ an hour in some cases. So it really just kind of depends on how you run your business, I guess I should say. So that's really my story. You know, since that time, I've been able to expand my business. You know, I run my business out of my basement and half of my garage. I'm looking to actually move to a physical location. But I mean, I've resold just about anything you can think of. Electronics, clothing, collectible items, big bulky stuff, small stuff, stuff that takes forever to sell, stuff that sells right away. I've sold anything and everything, and I finally kind of figured out my niche or however you say it on what works best for me, and that's mostly high-end electronics. So you can check out the rest of this YouTube channel. I have a ton of videos on how to do that. I also have a course coming out that's very inexpensive. It should launch sometime the end of July or early August. I'll have the information for that linked down below. But guys, yeah, I mean, reselling is amazing. I mean, you can work your own time doing this. You can work it as a side hustle. Anyone can do this. It's super easy to learn. It's just a matter of buying items at a discount and flipping them for a profit. So you don't have to do it full time like I do. You can just do it as a side hustle. I mean, I started out making several $1,000s a month just as a side hustle once I figured out what types of inventory was best for me to buy and resell when I had minimal time to put into the business. So, you know, that's really it. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows, like I said. There is some downsides to it. You know, you're gonna get the occasional return. You're gonna get the occasional scammer. You're going to buy something you think you're gonna sell at a certain profit and you're actually gonna lose money on it. But, you know, my hopes is that you can watch these videos and learn from a lot of my mistakes. You know, I learned from a lot of other people's mistakes on what they did wrong. So, you know, I don't know how many things I've avoided making the mistake on just because I would watch videos and I would do my research before I would buy items. So, you know, reselling, guys, if you're looking to get into it, it's really easy to do. Check out my free phone flipping mini course. That's really how I source a lot of my items. So you can apply that mini course. I'll have it linked below as well in the description. And that will teach you guys the fundamentals on how to go about getting your inventory in some of the easiest ways and how to resell those items for a profit. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this, and hopefully you guys benefited, you know, from something in my story along the lines of, you know, the things I did right, the mistakes that I made. And with that being said, guys, if you appreciate this info, please share this video with anyone who's a reseller that you think would benefit from it. You know, the more we can share with people, the more we can help out people with making money just on the side and, you know, help them pay off debt or help them go on that vacation or just help them make some extra money for whatever reason that they need more money. So with that being said, guys, I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.